I'm here today talking with Zoe Cairns and Grace Graham. We'll be chatting about all things women in business, technology, the challenges in business and how we've overcome them. Hello ladies, it's great to have you here.
Hi,
Great
nice
to
to
be
be here.
here.
Could I ask you each just to introduce yourselves and just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, I'm Zoe Cairns. I'm a social media consultant, UK digital lead for the FSB, and run an agency in Rochester. I'm pleased to be here.
Grace Graham, Keep It Simple training company, founder and director, focus on anti-racism training and online courses. And I'm the FSB lead for diversity and inclusion in London.
Well, it's great to have you here, ladies. We're going to talk a little bit about women in business. And you might have seen the recent report from the Office for National Statistics saying about how women in business have been disproportionately impacted due to the lockdown and the pandemic. What's your views? What's been your experience of this, either from yourself or from the clients that you work with?
Yeah, it's not impacted me directly, but with people around me, like my sister or family members and friends, have been hugely impacted, whether it's where they've had to, be at home with the children, with school care.
For myself in particular, I got a son who was doing his GCSEs, so he was heavily impacted, and his impact impacted on me. Because I was delivering workshops outside of the home, and then I had to put them all online, and it was tough. It was a real strain, but actually, it increased business for me. But there were other people, because I'm the lead for Hackney as well, the FSB lead for Hackney, and people were contacting me saying my business is finished, it's over, and that was really, really stressful. And you have many people. I know many women who are lone parents running a business, and for some of them it's stopped because they've got more than one child. Some of them have their business computer, their children don't have any computers. So we had a lot of issues with that, especially where I live, where there was one computer in the household, people had to share it.
Yeah. And I think as women, we tend to juggle, don't we? We tend to
Yeah.
take on those caring responsibilities.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not just the young children, but some of us take care of older
yeah.
people as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's still traditionally the way. I think women,
Yeah.
even though the women and men were in lockdown, I think women have taken that role again. So what do you think women can do to build back stronger, better? And do you think it's going to take us a long time to build back?
I feel that it's going to be the way forward now. I think that a lot of things are going to change in the way that we're working, in the way that our everyday life is. So I think bringing in different changes into our everyday life is the way that we are going to progress forwards.
The biggest thing I've done, and I say to others, is to reach out and ask for support, because I think for me, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here really. And I think what I've learned this year is about diversifying. One of the things I did, which I really struggled to do before, was be part of an accountability group, and that really helped. Really helped me with my motivation. It helped me with getting contacts, and all this online networking has been phenomenal. And with my training, I do it hybrid. I have people online and I have people in the room. So we just have to think really differently, and digitally. I mean, the digital use has just gone up. I struggled with it in the beginning. I don't know about you, but you probably didn't. But I really struggled with it. But now it's like my friend.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about technology. I mean, many women and many men fear technology. There's this huge fear. And obviously, when the pandemic started, a lot of people, as you say, suddenly thought, oh no, what am I going to do? I've got the kids home, I've got all this juggling to do,
Yeah.
and I've got to go online. I mean, why do you think women fear technology? And is that still the case, do you think?
I think a lot of women have now understand it a lot more, and I think it is down to change. It's down to the way that having to quickly jump onto it, the quickness that they've had to make that change in what they're doing. And I think there's been so much support out there, so much support for women to be able to then really reach out and say, how do I do this? And even down to the companies providing that internal training and support for them as well that they can reach out to. It's been a massive change.
And have you used technology yourself during the various
Yeah, I mean,
lockdowns?
I was used to flying all over the world speaking. Now I'm speaking on Zoom, which is a completely different to what I used to do, but it's still allowed me to do my role in what I love and I'm passionate about.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us have sort of, we feared that use of that online, was it going to be support us? Was it going to be able to hold up to all the demand? And I think, some of the companies did struggle with demand to start with, but it seems to be so seamless now. Grace, you talked about hybrid events and things going
Yes.
forward,
Yeah.
and hybrid use of technology. So do you think that's going to be the way forward?
I think it will be, definitely. Because, I was against it before. I was like, either come in or we do it all online with everybody. And actually, I'm quite used to it now. And I think for me, that is definitely the way forward. Because now how I work is if you can't make it in person, we might do a separate session online. Or if we're in a big enough space, you can have people in the room, people online. But what women I know do fear is, especially women from my community, is the expense. They think because we're going to use technology, it's really expensive. But actually, there's so many people out there who could just give you a bit of advice. And I think we don't tap into it enough, because that's what helped me. I got a little bit of advice from someone who knows how to use Zoom really well. And I've made mistakes, but I've learned from them as well. I think what people struggle with is the expense. They think it's going to be really expensive to learn it. They think it's going to be really expensive to run it. And there's a lot of fear around the unknown.
So we talked about the report earlier that said that women had been severely impacted by the pandemic and lockdowns, and that's also led to a lot of job losses, particularly in the female sector. Women have been more targeted for job loss, been made redundant, perhaps haven't been able to work because of the nature of the work they do. But it's led to opportunities, so women can open up new businesses. Have you found that? Have you come across that, Grace?
What I've seen a lot of is, people just thinking, you know what, I'm on furlough, but what I'll do is I'll do a little business in the meantime. And then what I've seen is also the businesses have taken off, and they go, you know what, I can retire, or I can resign from this job and just go on and carry on with my business.
Yeah, there's been a huge growth in women starting social media businesses and technology-based businesses. What do you think the reason for that is? Why do you think that's the case?
I think it's for them if they've already used social media and they've already got those skills from either their previous role, or it's quite easily accessible to learn online. I think that then gives them the opportunity to then think, actually, I can do this from home and around the children as well. I think what I've loved seeing from women, and men. I mean, women have got so much determination, and if they have been furloughed or they've been made redundant, they get themselves back out there, but creating a business around what works around their everyday life in what we know of it now.
I think it's made people realise actually you can be a home-based business and still work. We've talked about other women supporting and peer support. I mean, it's how valuable do you think peer support is from other women to help lift you up? I mean, you hear the saying, "Real women fix each other's crowns." Do you think that's the case? Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I do. I think
Yeah.
it's about helping each other. Throughout lockdown, we had a group that we all come together and just say, right, what have you got on this week? Just keep each other accountable, ask for each other's advice. How are you feeling? And it was a safe group for people to open up and let vent, or to have that cry, or to celebrate that success. And also to support each other within, if you need a contact who's within your network. And I think it's so vital. When you're working from home, it's a very lonely world. And I think this has enabled people to really come together and even bring groups of people together that you never thought would come together as well.
Do you think women are more open to sharing? So with these support groups and networks and wanting to help each other, do you think women are more open to doing that than maybe men in business?
But I think for us, it's more about relationship building. We are really good at fixing each other's crowns, and especially for me, I've struggled with confidence at times where I've had a real crisis of confidence. So when people say to me, "Oh, I can't do it," or "I don't know what I'm doing," that, you know, I totally understand and I listen and I support them wherever I can. Yeah.
I think it's really important to the work I do is create role models. You know, you can't be what you can't see. So
Yeah.
you want to encourage women to speak out, to share their experiences, the good and the bad,
Yes.
so that women can say, well, actually, it is real. There are good times, but there are some not so good times.
Absolutely.
Do you think the pandemic has created challenges, or do you think it's more opportunities?
I think it's created more opportunities than ever, definitely for me. So whereas I was focusing, the furthest I was going at was to like just on the edge of London, now I can cover the UK, you know. And I think it's about, initially, everyone was like, it's finished. And I thought, oh my God, I might be finished. But a lot of people have pivoted. A lot of people have thought, you know what? It's an opportunity to do something different. And they might have said, you know what, I'm going to actually not do that business because I can't think of how to digitalize it. Or they might think, you know what, I can add a digital element to my business. And I think if anyone's going to start a business now, just think of how you can add the digital or the technological element to it before you go on. But yeah.
I think that every challenge provides an opportunity, and it's sort of like, if you've had a challenge in your business or you're experience a challenge and there's an opportunity on the other side. So it's taking that challenge and thinking, how can this make me grow and what journey can I go on to then, look at that opportunity.
We talk about success, and success means different things to different people. What does success look like for you?
Oh, success for me is helping people, seeing people grow and succeed. That's what success looks like to me. Making, really helping people, helping them progress their business and, helping them thrive.
For me, it's really about creating value, not only for myself, but for other people. Because I've been in a situation for many years, and not many years, but long enough where I've just thought, yeah, I want to create value, but I've created value for others and not myself. So it's about creating value all round. And I think for me, my son, you know, he writes music, and that's what he wants to do. And him wanting to come and talk to me about business related things and listening and going, right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to, helping the younger people to have that entrepreneurial spirit.
And one of the things I found when I started working with women in business was we don't often shout about our own successes. We were chatting earlier about some of the things that you've done, Zoe. And women tend to hold back and don't celebrate those successes. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think a lot of people hold back, and we're humble, and we don't want to shout about it or boast about it. But it's a really important part of our businesses and our growth. It's something that I've had definitely a barrier, and I'm openly saying this, but a barrier I've had for many years. You do some really great stuff, you achieve amazing things, but then you hold back on really sharing that with people because you want to help them.
What do you think we can do to help women be more confident in sharing their successes?
I think it's about leading by example, because what I've started to do lately now in my workshops is say that I am bloody brilliant, actually, and you are lucky to have me. But also, because you're working with me, you're going to be brilliant as well. And I think we've got to really tell ourselves how awesome we are, and I don't mind saying that nowadays. I think women tend to hold back on that is because, yes, we're humble, but what happens is the consequence or the backlash of us saying how successful we are. And I think women are worried about the backlash. The people, who tend to knock you for doing great things, they're the people who are not happy in their lives. And I've seen it where, in my circle of friends, and my circle has really, really shrunk now, because I only want my cheerleaders in my camp, and I'm a cheerleader for others.
I want you to think back to the very first day you started out in business. What advice would you give to somebody that's thinking about starting their business today?
I think I remember mine really well, and I was talking to Grace about it earlier. But what I would do is write down everyone you know within your network, because you have got such a great network, even though you might not think about it. So the support network around you, write down every person that you know, and then think about how you could reach out, learn from their experience, how they could potentially educate you, and how they can actually help you in putting something together in your business.
I would say go with your gut and trust every single decision that you have.
And I think, when we start out in business, we're excited, we've got all these ideas, it's just a roller coaster. We think it's going to be that upward trend. But in reality, it's a roller coaster, isn't it? There are highs and there are
There
lows.
are, yeah.
One of the things I say to women is remember why you
The
started your
why,
business.
yeah,
And
the
so
why.
why did you start your business?
So for me, it was really about, doing the things that I love to do. It gave me the freedom I really wanted, and it enabled me to do, the things that I could do each day that I really wanted to do.
I wanted to improve my work-life balance because I had a young son at the time, and I became a single parent, and I needed to spend time with him. And the second one is to really use any skill that I had and pull it out the bag.
And do you revisit your why? Do you keep going back and remembering why you do what you do?
Always. I look at my son and now that he has that entrepreneurial spirit now, because he's at that age now where he's like he wants more money, and I'm like, you've got to work for it, mate. But yeah, I look at him and I say everything that I'm doing, everything that I have done, all those long days where I'd go out in the morning and it was dark, and I'd come home in the evening and it was dark, all of those things that I don't have to do anymore. And it's all because I want a really good life for him.
Yeah. And we talked earlier about women in business and how we tend to share when things aren't going so well as, maybe we hold back on the successes, but we are willing to share and be more open when things aren't going so well. And you talked about an accountability group.
Oh,
How
yes.
important has that been to you?
Oh, it's been amazing, actually. And what was great about the accountability group is whenever I was going to share or do something new with my business, if I was going to have a new client and I was frightened about giving them the price that I charge, they would say, just go for it. And then when I did say, give a price to what I was going to charge, and that client goes, yeah, great, lovely. I'd go and tell my accountability group, and they say, great, so your pricing point now. But for me, it was about that encouragement and ideas. So yeah, and learning from others.
Yeah. And I think a lot of women are in home-based businesses now. A lot of women are sole traders or sole
Yes.
directors, so they don't
Yeah.
have big teams around them
Yeah.
anymore. How do you cope with something like that as a woman in business, that isolation of just working on your own?
I think, in terms of coming together and sharing ideas and steps forward, and even people within your accountability group that might have already walked that path can really give that advice. And I've also found it with people that are now working from home, and they might be within teams employed, but still might not get that support from their
Yeah.
team. They're still within accountability groups of other companies and people as well. So I think it does give them that opportunity to ask questions and to be guided and that support.
I remember when I first started in business, I don't know about you, but I went just down to the local shop, bought a laptop, bought a printer, and thought I was set to go. Had no idea what I was doing or what I was using, didn't know if it was the right to support my business through its growth. If I could wave a magic wand right now and said, here's £25,000 to have the perfect tech support, what do you think that would have done for your business when you were starting out?
I think it would have been amazing to have that support, the advice, especially the tech advice, but also the setup. Because when I first started out, I got that desktop and it was great. But then because I do a lot on the road, it was like, oh, well, my printer's at home when I'm out on the road, and I wanted something more portable. So it'd be a great investment for the business to start off, to have that tech setup, but also how to set it up, what you do require in order to help your business, not just now, but in the future as you grow as well. So I think it'd be great.
How do you think that would have impacted you at the start of your business journey?
I would have thought more about my technology, because what I've done with my business, in particularly the last 5 years that I've made videos, I've got a decent camera. or printer. Like if I'm doing workshops, I've got a printer that would have lasted. I use the laptops and stuff a lot, and I've got a Dell computer, which is amazing. It's like a wide screen, and sometimes I need 2 documents by the side. And it kind of stops me from printing. But I would have really, really focused on that element of it. Getting a video camera. Whether it's a webcam or a laptop or a computer with a good camera.
Looking again and thinking about, women in business, in tech businesses now, and the use of technology, what would be your biggest tip that you could give a woman in business right now who's considering, purchasing technology in their business?
I think for me, I would say to them, go pen to paper and just write down everything that you want it to do and what you want your business capabilities are that tech's going to help you to do. And looking at that future 1, 5 and 10 years. So then that actual tech grows with you and you actually purchase the right type of tech that you can then upgrade or can develop to what the systems and processes that you're going to develop.
Do you think women should still fear technology?
We spoke about accountability groups earlier. I think if you've got that support network, then don't fear tech because it's going to enable you so many opportunities, enable you to thrive.
Well, I'd like to thank you both for sharing your top tips, your experiences as women in business, your use of technology and lessons learned. It's been absolutely thoroughly enjoyable speaking to both of you, Grace and Zoe.
Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing day. It's been a great opportunity to be with some amazing women in business today. On behalf of FSB as the UK Digital Lead, I've been sharing my experiences and been inspired by some of the stories in business being shared. We've learned so much, we've shared and been support. It's been an inspiration to be here, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about the contest and those of you that enter.
Today has been so lovely to share my information and my experiences especially with technology. If I just help just one person to transform their business and their life and the way they do things, I've done my job. So, get out there and just be you and be absolutely awesome.
I love being inspired by women in business, sharing stories, sharing opportunities and making new connections. I've had a fantastic day here today, making those new connections and listening to other women in business and how they've faced challenges and overcome them. I've really got so much from it. So I urge you to actually make connections and really, really engage with other women in business. I don't know about you, but when I started out in business, I didn't know anything about technology. How would it be if you were to win £25,000 to spend on the perfect tech setup in business? The DWEN Dream Tech Competition is exactly that. You could be the recipient of £25,000, £10,000 or £5,000 to spend on tech setup in your business right now.